To start things off tonight, two albums of very different stature, obviously. Primordial, right there. Plows to Rust and Swords to Dust. I see no press, no pub on this Primordial album. And I did see some stuff back in the day on this band. As a matter of fact, I would have never heard of Primordial if it wasn't for reading about Blood Revolt about a decade or so ago. So their latest album, which I think is probably among their 2 or 3 best, of course, Primordial being a Northern Irish heavy metal band. I guess they're not going to get that much publicity here in the States, but they deserve more than they're getting. And like I said, that last tune right there, man, or any of these songs on that album, if they were written by one of the big 4, well, they would be hailed. It would be hailed as a big-time comeback, because this is some metal with some real angst. Before that, our first entry of the evening on a completely different tip, Finger 11, from their most recent studio album, 5 Crooked Lines, of course, the boys from Ontario, Canada, and that track was called Come On Oblivion. But that album also has some great tracks like Gods of Speed, Not Gonna Be Afraid, good songs on that one, and I feel that that album by Finger 11 might be their best. The band's previous 3 albums were all top 50, but I didn't see this one. And we're going to go back. This would be the oldest of the selections on tonight's Great Wall of Metal. This one goes back to the mid-90s. This album was recorded back in 93 or 94, but was not released here in the States until 1998 in the underground. The track is called Sun Red Sun. The band is Badlands. Right here on the Wizard's Great Wall of Metal.
Shed me of my sins, and freedom's touched my way. Through the sound in the thick and thin, it's starting on the jet. 500 years of voices carry on the wind. Each dawn I watch the sunset melt in the this fly on his way to the fair. And he said, reason, won't you put your blue dress on? I said, now reason, won't you put your blue dress on? I said, now reason, won't you put your blue dress on? Ow, 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 ow.
No doubt the greatest band, greatest rock and roll band or heavy metal band, hard rock band, whatever you want to call them, from the state of Maryland, right there, Clutch, coming from the Jam Room CD, which was the band's fourth album from back in 1999. That track is called Big Fat Pig. Jam Room is an interesting album because the band originally released it between two major label albums, from what I remember, but that album's got some funky gems, ladies and gents, like that track, and Who Wants to Rock, Gnome Enthusiast, Raised by Horses, and of course the incredible release The Kraken is on that album. And that album also features the original version of One-Eyed Dollar, which later appeared, I believe, on From Beale Street to Oblivion, right? But that's Neil Fallon and Tim Salt, Dan Maines, and John Paul Gaster right there. That album was eventually reissued about 6 years later on Megaforce with some bonus tracks, which makes the album even better. And of course, before that was Badlands. Sun Red Sun was released in Japan at first and then didn't make its way over here, back here into the States until 1998. So that album really went unnoticed. I don't know anybody who owns Dusk from Badlands except for me. And that's why I play it here on the Great Wall of Metal, because we're doing the impossibly ignored albums in heavy metal over the past 30 years. And boy, I think these really need to be readdressed. I mean, come on, man. This is some great stuff right here. Again, this is not an underrated band thing. These are bands that are not underrated. These bands have had their due. But these particular albums have really slipped through the cracks. You know what I'm saying? I guess file this under the some people have a lot of explaining to do, because it's just a sacrilege. Here's a band that, when this band first formed back in the mid-2000s, the hype was huge. I mean, the fact that this band member came from System of a Down is all you need to know. Band released their first album, of course I'm talking about Scars on Broadway, back in 2008. But then the second album didn't come until a decade later. It's called Dictator. And this one, once again, I don't know a single soul who owns this record besides myself. So we're going to get something from Dictator, from Scars on Broadway. And this track, ladies and gentlemen, is called Talking Shit. Doing it on the Great Wall of Metal.
Maybe waiting just for fun.
be jealous. All the eyes are jealous. The eyes are be jealous. The eyes are be jealous. The eyes are be jealous. All the eyes are jealous.
as a big-time Monster Magnet fan, I felt very let down when I didn't even know that album came out for about a year after it did come out back in 2021, A Better Dystopia. And then I read up that it's a covers album. Who knew? Because the only track that I recognized, I'm being completely honest here, was the Hawkwind track, Born to Go. But there's a Pretty Things cover on there, a Jerusalem cover, a DJ Dave Diamond cover, and a Dust cover. And then that track, Motorcycle Straight to Hell, is a cover of a band called Table Scraps. I've never heard of them. So that's Monster Magnet from A Better Dystopia. When I read up about Monster Magnet's most recent tour that they're doing in the UK, even Blabbermouth, the news article, said, and they'll be supporting their most recent album, Test Patterns, Volume 1, which is a reissue of the Tab EP from back in like 1990. And even they did not mention this album. I don't know, man. It's a great record. I didn't know it was a covers album either, being completely honest with you. So there's Monster Magnet on one of the most ignored, impossibly ignored albums of the past 30 years. Scars on Broadway before that, with something off Dictator, which is the second and most recent album from Darren Malakian, and Scars on Broadway. Of course, Darren's original band, System of a Down, has not put an album out since 2006, I believe. But this album, Dictator, it's got some pretty great tracks on it. Angry Guru, The Guns Are Loaded, We Won't Obey. There's a Skinny Puppy cover on it called Assimilate. And that track that we did called Talkin' Shit. But this is from a guy who was in probably the most successful metal band of the early 2000s. So why that album, Dictator, didn't really catch on, it beats me, man. I don't know. But it's catching on here on the Great Wall of Metal, ladies and gentlemen. And I am the Heavy Metal Wizard. And we're doing this from SoCal, of course. It's a hot and humid night here, like it is in most of the country. I dare say it's probably a little more comfortable here than it is back on the East Coast, right? I promise you guys, you will not walk away from this stream without having your mind blown by at least one or two of these songs. I promise you. They're lesser known. I know some of them are completely unknown. But all of these albums were released over the past 30 years, which is, you know, in my adulthood. And I really would like to know, if you're listening to this, whether it be live or at some point later on, would love to know some of your opinions on some of these songs and albums, or whether or not you actually had these albums on your radar at any point in time. Because, like I said, I went back into my collection and I handpicked these 13 albums out because I really don't know anyone else who has them, to be honest with you. You know, don't be BSing me either. Don't be telling me, hey, you always knew of these albums. You bought it the day it came out. Yeah, right. I can smell the bullshit from a mile away, people, because I am the Heavy Metal Wizard after all. Let's move on to another invisible album that was released, 2013, so a little more than a decade ago. And at that time, well, 3 of the 4 of the original members of Caius decided to get together and do a tour called Caius Lives. And it was pretty banging. I saw 2 of the shows, one in New Jersey and one in New York City. And it was pretty amazing. Of course, that was Brampy York on drums and Nick Oliveri on bass, John Garcia on vocals, and Bruno Feveri on guitar, taking the place, of course, of Josh Homme. And they went in the studio at some point, recorded a full album, and it was going to be called Peace. Josh and Scott Reeder, who played bass after Nick Oliveri and Caius, they sued the band, and I guess they put a cease and desist on the name Caius, which meant that they couldn't use the name Caius Lives either. So they had to release the album under the name Vistacino, which was not a very smart move because no one knew who it was. And the album pretty much came and went without a flicker, but it's goddamn good. Here's a track from what I'm going to call Caius's 5th album, Peace. It's called Planets 1 and 2. They're here on the Great Wall of Metal. Now that is an absolute masterpiece. And I didn't even know that album was released. Talking about Queensryche's Digital Noise Alliance from 2022. I didn't know it was out until I went to see the band last year play in SoCal, and they started playing songs off their new album. So, man, the release of this album went really under the radar, even with a diehard Queensryche fan like myself. So what does that tell you? It tells you it belongs on the Great Wall of Metal tonight, on the 13 most impossibly ignored metal albums of the past 30 years. And that, of course, is the fourth album with Todd LaTorre on vocals for Queensryche. And no doubt the best of the four. As a matter of fact, this album is so shockingly good, I dare say it's the best Queensryche album since 1999's Q2K. And I go on record with that. That track's called Behind the Walls, and that's just one of the many masterpiece songs that the band wrote for this album. So that's Digital Noise Alliance from the mighty Queensryche. And Caius back there before that, or as they called themselves in 2013, Vistacino, from their album Peace. It would have been the fifth Caius album. And that track that we played, Planets 1 and 2, the only track from Caius that I know that features two different vocalists. That's Brant Bjork in the first half of the track, and John Garcia, of course, in the second half of that tune, and that's a walloper, baby. It's Caius at their best, even without Josh. All right. I am the heavy metal wizard, and you're on the Great Wall of Metal tonight on the Gotcha Metal channel, as we are live here in SoCal, as always. And tonight we are shining the spotlight on some albums from metal bands that really, and I mean really, flew under the radar. Some of these are indie albums, and some of them are major label albums. Some are kind of old, and some are kind of brand spanking new, like that Queensryche album. I'm going to play one now. In fact, I'm going to play two tracks now. I would love to know if anyone can figure these next two bands out before I come back on to tell you about them. So without any further ado, let's get to this on the Great Wall of Metal tonight.
I'll take my place in hell. it's an old day motto. Then they're gonna beat you harder like your father. Chain through the stocks, ain't no big shock, it ain't no bother. Then they're gonna whip you harder, whip you harder. Speak in the native tongue, listen till the band's done. Wake with the sun, work your disease. Speak in the native tongue, listen till the band's done. Wake with the sun, work your disease. Running uptown on the west side, one got a 5-day motto. Then they're gonna work you harder like your father. Beating downtown with your fat head, be a good motto. Then they're gonna work you harder, work you harder. Speak in the native tongue, listen till the band's done. Wake with the sun, work your disease. Speak in the native tongue, listen till the band's done. Wake with the sun, work your disease. She's burning like a house on fire. Turning like a broken liar. And the beginning just has begun. Now she's speaking in the native tongue. She says, speak in the native tongue, listen till the band's done. Wake with the sun, work your disease. Speak in the native tongue, listen till the band's done. Wake with the sun, work your disease. Speak in the native tongue, listen till the band's done. Wake with the sun, work your disease. Speak in the native tongue, listen till the band's done. Wake with the sun, work your disease. Speak in the native tongue, listen till the band's done. Wake with the sun, work your disease. Speak in the native
Great wall of
tongue,
metal.
listen till the band's done.
The impossibly ignored albums, baby. Yeah, that is my plan. To play a bunch of unknown songs by great bands. And that would be The Cursed. And The Cursed is the band that Bobby Blitz of Overkill formed back in the mid-2000s with Dan Lorenzo from Nonfiction. And that is a mighty fine heavy metal album. It's called The Room Full of Sinners. And it's got a bunch of great tracks on it like Queen of the Down, that track, Native Tongue, Evil in the Bag, Levin as God in Like, which is, I think, French for living like God in France. And Blitz released that album in between Relics 14 and Immortalis back in 2007. That's Room Full of Sinners from The Cursed. I didn't think anyone was going to get that one. And prior to that, something even more obscure. Mind Funk. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Mind Funk from their third and impossible to find album, People Who Fell from the Sky, from back in 1996. The track is called Weird Water. Of course, Mind Funk originally was Pat Dubar, Louis Stivic, Jason Coppola, John Monty, and Reed St. Mark, sort of a super group in metal at the time, back in the early 90s. They released a debut album back in 1990 that did fairly well, and then they followed it up with, after changing a couple of band members, Jason Everman, formerly of Soundgarden and Nirvana, replaced Jason Coppola, and Sean Johnson replaced Reed St. Mark, and they put out Dropped in 1993, which is a fine album. And then it was 3 years later that they finally put out People Who Fell from the Sky, which saw more band personnel changes. It was recorded as a four-piece, as Spike Xavier of Mind Over 4 replaced John Monty, who went on to join Ministry at the time. So that's a really hard one to find. Probably the most obscure of all the ones we're playing tonight is Mindfunk right there. And I'm a big fan. Heavy Metal Wizard loves this shit. This is a real muso stream. I get it. You could turn it off. Hey, you're right. But I know some people who will really love this. All right, let's get to a couple of bands that are a little bit more popular. Okay? These next two, I promise you're going to know who these are as we do the 13 most impossibly ignored albums in metal over the past 30 years, right here on the Wizard's Great Wall of Metal.
Gentle summer breeze becomes a chilling wind of fall.
next track for you. It's the Cult, right here, the Great Wall of Metal. And from what I consider to be the greatest Cult album that's not called Electric. But it didn't do all that well for Ian Astbury and Billy Duffy and Matt Sorum and Martin Lenoble, because it peaked only at number 37, which for the Cult is not anything that's great shakes. But that album's called Beyond Good and Evil, and it kicks ass. I mean, it's got Rise, Take the Power, American Gothic, The Speed of Light, Black California. And that track's called The Saint. It is the Cult's 7th album, 2001. And that album, I'm telling you, man, it might be their second best album in their entire catalog of 11 or 12 albums at this point from the Cult. Damn good stuff. Before that, The Sword with something off Used Future from 2018. The track is called Don't Get Too Comfortable. Spinning some knowledge of their time in the music industry on that track. And that album, you know, it came and went really quickly, and then the band broke up a couple of years later. Damn shame, because The Sword, I don't care. You put on any of their CDs, and it's a must-listen. The minute you put it on, you ain't turning it off, man, until it's OVER. And that's why The Sword and the Cult make tonight's Great Wall of Metal with the Heavy Metal Wizard here live in SoCal as we do some impossibly ignored albums from some great heavy metal bands tonight. All right, as we continue on, because I don't want to make this stream too long, you know the rule. Got to be under 90 minutes. At least that's what I'm told, if you want to have a good stream. So let's get to a band that really, really did well after the release of this very album that we're going to play. But this album, in my opinion, one of the best party albums in nu metal of the mid-90s. And I think you're going to know where I'm going with this one. I always wonder, is he singing it's the death of rock and roll and I'm curing it? Or is it the death of rock and roll and I'm killing it? I don't know. It's Mark McGrath, ladies and gentlemen, along with his friends in Sugar Ray. Talking about Rodney Shepherd, Murphy Cargus back then. And, of course, the unbelievable Stan Frazier on drums and DJ Homicide there on the turntables, of course. From the debut from 1995, Lemonade and Brownies, which features, so many amazing songs. Iron Mike, Mean Machine, the classic Danzig Needs a Hug, Rhyme Stealer, and, of course, that track, 10 Seconds Down, which you could also find on the classic Escape from L.A. soundtrack. Kurt Russell action right there. And like I said, man, that album is the only Sugar Ray record, at least that I know of, that is not platinum or multi-platinum. And unlike a lot of bands who, when they, break out later in their career and all the original albums prior to that get to gold status or whatever, or at least sell off a few 100,000 copies, that album, it's like it disappeared off the racks with its Nicole Eggert cover, of course, from Baywatch. And that album, I think, peaked out at about 90,000 copies, which is weird considering that all the follow-up albums are platinum or multi-platinum. It's an odd thing, and I believe that the band still plays a couple of tracks from that record when they play live. So it's not like they're burying it, but somebody's burying it. All right, I'm the Heavy Metal Wizard, and you're on the Great Wall of Metal. And I guess I miscounted because we've done 13 already, and there's one more to go. And that's on me. And I saved the best song for last because here's a band that I'm sure everyone knows about and knows of. And a bunch of their albums are very popular. I'm talking about the band Corrosion of Conformity. Everybody knows Wise Blood. Everyone knows Blind, of course, the classic Blind breakout album from COC, Deliverance in there. But in the middle of all those records is an album called America's Volume Dealer, right? Which happens to be one of probably my top 10 albums of all time. It's got the classic COC lineup, Pepper Keenan on vocals, Woody Weatherman on guitar, Mike Dean on bass, and Reed Mullen on drums. Album came out in late 2000, or maybe early 2001, COC's sixth album. You got Zippo, Congratulations Song, Over Me, Double Wide. I mean, it's a fantastic hard rock album from a band that is no stranger to the Billboard charts. Blind made the top 200. Deliverance made the top 200. Wise Blood made the top 100. In the Arms of God from a few years ago hit number 108. Their self-titled album went to number 157. No Cross, No Crown, which is the band's most recent CD, actually went to number 67. But this album, America's Volume Dealer, no chart. It makes no sense. The album's fantastic, and this track that we're going to end our Wizard's Great Wall of Metal is the best song of the evening. Why haven't we heard this on rock radio? I just don't get it. Anyway, the track is called Stare Too Long, and that's what we're going to end up with here tonight. A little melodramatic COC for you on the Wizard's Great Wall of Metal. Good night, everybody. Adios, and I'll see you soon.